everyone. Thanks for joining. I'm Reagan Sonnabend. I'm a real estate investor, small business owner, and corporate housing operator. I'm here with my friend Shinyi Telscher. We have just had the most amazing experience, the first annual board meeting for Owners Club, and just really excited to have the awesome Xavier here joining us today and filming and just sharing our experience, not only with the board retreat itself, but what we've all experienced and how we're working together in this group. Shinyi, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Shinyi Telscher. I'm based in Maryland. I'm a pharmacist by trade and real estate investor on the side. I'm glad to be here and meet with my friend Reagan Sonnabend to regroup and readjust our investment strategy and learn from each other.
Absolutely. We really just have been talking about over the last couple of days this experience that we've all kind of shared being a part of Owners Club, how far we've all come in the last year, but also just how I think we're all forever changed by the experience. Right. And how like every time we're all together, number one, I realize, and I remember Pace saying this in the first year, that this concept of the fact that we're not like just a mastermind that meets once and then, we disperse, right, but we see each other every couple of months. And I feel like when it gets close to the time to meet again, right, I really crave that and feel like I'm missing the connection with everyone. And even though we might meet on Zoom or do different things,
right, the in-person connection is totally different. And we, as an entrepreneur, it's hard, especially if you're juggling a few things like you also have the side business. It's always great to regroup and learn from each other. And what I call this is like a recharge your battery. So yes, it's time to take some time off work or however your main business is, just kind of focus on your mindset and growth. This is very valuable.
I agree. Recharge your batteries and kind of just like take a step back, not be doing the tactical day-to-day work that we all do, but really strategically think about what we're doing, kind of thinking about the mindset part and getting past any roadblocks that we may be experiencing at the moment. But more amazing than anything else to me is just what a family this group is and how we have such a trusted group of experts across so many different disciplines. Exactly. And you can bring whatever challenge it is you have. And it's just amazing how often there's a solution to the problem within just a couple of minutes.
Right. Well, I think we should take a minute to talk about that. Like you just mentioned, right? When you have a problem, it's a solution. Often what I see, what people are getting to this high-level room, they're having trouble networking with people very effectively. It's very easy to get tangled into this 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes conversation. You then miss out the opportunity to talk to other people. It's such a big group. Like everybody have a different kind of skill set to contribute, but a lot of time it's about introduce yourself. It's like, I have this problem, who can help me? It's about who, not how, right? Instead of kind of going into like, hey, I'm just starting, this is what I'm working on. No, focus on the problem-focused introduction because everybody have a different skill. If you introduce, hey, I just take less than 20 seconds to introduce where you're from, very similar minimum, and then dive into like, I have this kind of problem because people's ear perked up because we wanted to solve problems. As we all in real estate investors, we like to solve problems. If you start with, I have this problem I'm trying to solve, and then dive into that, it just people's brains start clicking. It's okay, I may not be able to help you, but I know so and so you should go talk to. Yeah, it's such a different skill, like a different approach when you come to networking.
That is a breakthrough, and it's funny because the who, not how, I feel like I've heard that so many times, but it's only over the last couple of months that it's like, you hear it, you can regurgitate that, right, but it's like really seeing that real world application of that, of how people are tangibly helping you solve problems, right, like that. And they're happy to do it, and they're trusted people, which is huge. But right, what you just said, I think, is really important because I think about like wanting to share our experience as part of Owners Club, which is amazing, but also thinking about how what we're talking about can apply to and benefit others who are not in the Owners Club. Right. And I think we all go to a lot of meetups. We as Owners Club members really want to be leaders and help others, right, pull them along with us and help them with little challenges that they may be having or big challenges that they may be having. But so often, if I'm just at a traditional meetup, not an Owners Club, if you're meeting someone new and you introduce yourself, like, what do you do? And then sometimes you get a 30-minute story right, of every little detail of someone's first deal. And it's like, that's not what I was asking. Yes. What do you do? And then, what are some of the challenges?
What's the challenging you have? Like, I don't really need to dive into a lot of life story. It's about where you are right now, how can we help each other go from that
Absolutely.
point? I mean, the past story, of course, important, but that's a skill. Try to learn how to dial that down to less than a minute to introduce, kind of
Yes.
condense the most, pivotal moment, whatever, or to signify you or highlight you as a person. So I think the character is very important to highlight, but focus on the problem because we're a problem solver.
So true. Or even like, ideas of ways someone can help. When I think about, the Orbit program and other ways that people that are new in the community, how can you get your first deal? How can you get effective? How can you learn the ropes? And a lot of times it is working with someone who's experienced, who has done the thing that you want to do. I mean, honestly, that's the biggest shortcut. And I think sometimes people are resistant to that. They want to try to do it themselves, but then 2 years later, they still don't have their first deal.
Yeah.
So it's like, why not JV with someone that knows what you're doing really well and can do it in their sleep?
Right.
So, when you're networking, when you're meeting people for the first time, instead of the really long, drawn out, story of your first deal, share, what you do, skills that you bring, ways that you can contribute, and also challenges that you may be having so that we can really make that productive time and that it's not networking just for networking's sake, but it's to really actually try to engage, help, and move things along for folks to help make them successful.
Yeah, what value can you bring? What skill can you bring? That's such a important concept because I think a lot of people who fell short on that is they miss out the opportunity to highlight their worth. Everybody has something to get. You have to find out when was the last time you offered this special value of yours. You get a really big payday, or somebody just pat on your back. You're really good at that. Highlight that and just offer that skill to somebody. Even for free, I heard a lot of, I know a lot of my friends, they are now very successful. They started with working for free for somebody who was already doing it, where they were trying to go, and then learn from them, work for free, and then they outshine, start their own business and all that. It's to figure out what value can you bring to the table. Instead of asking, just be part of the greater team and learn from this person. However the small pay you could get, or even working for free, get to where you wanted to go.
As you were saying that, there were two things I thought about at the same time. Number one is that you're running a meetup now, so you're in a position where you're seeing a lot of different things as a result of that. But also at dinner last night, there was a group of us, we were out to dinner, and Terry Savage was sharing with me a story from the very beginning of her career, and I was just sitting on the edge of my seat. It was a great story. It was a story of empowerment. It was actually a story of something that she really kind of got kicked in the gut. And instead of, just like handling it any other way, she handled it like a boss. And she ended up leaving that job quickly. It was at a very different time, and women weren't always treated with respect in the workplace. Their skills and their contributions weren't respected. And she was, treated not very nicely by a couple of different employers that she worked with early on. But during the course of doing that, she learned so much from all the different experiences, all the things she did. She didn't make a big deal out of it. She took it as an opportunity to sit on the sidelines in a little bit of a way, but she's really behind the scenes, handling a lot of things, handling a lot of contracts, making things happen, selling a lot of houses, and contributing and helping out. And then over time, she was like running the place, and people saw it. And the person that became her next employer saw those contributions, and
they picked you up, put it in
That's
here.
exactly. And he walked through a few different times at meetings in her office, and he'd say to her, "You're in the wrong seat." And she didn't understand what he meant, and she didn't say anything. And after he did it like 3 times, she's like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "You need to come work for me. You're not appreciated here." And she really took a challenging situation, and she wouldn't be where she is today without that.
Right, so there are a couple of things she did right. She worked really hard. She doesn't let other people's negative attitude affected her. She's high integrity, did things the right way. People will notice. If you work hard, you have a skill. Any person who has a very good, entrepreneurial mindset or leadership, they will notice this kind of person. They will want to put them into a higher leadership position. You're looking for that, but you got to do the work, and you got to make sure you have some skill to contribute.
Absolutely.
Don't make out excuses just because you don't have certain things. Like we all lack of certain skill and criteria. We can learn from it, or we can partner with somebody who can bring in that skill and just make a greater team.
Absolutely. I just, for me, that in the moment, I was like, that was amazing. But it really sticks with me because I think a lot of us have been through things like that, especially early in our career, where, you know, you can look at it and be frustrated, or you can look at it as an opportunity to learn a lot. She learned more from it. It took a couple of years for it to all happen, but she was running the place. She was doing the stuff. And then when the time came that she realized, like, she was the one who closed the door and said, I'm done here, and I feel empowered because now I'm going to be the boss next time around.
Correct.
And so that's a pretty amazing story. And
Bossy moment.
yeah, for sure. So that was definitely fun. And then I got to spend some time with Casey last night as well, with Austin, with you, with Susan. And that's one of the things I really love is, you know, of course, a lot of times we're together and we're having these larger events, these networking, but then you can have like small dinners and hang out, or just sitting around, you know, at the beginning of the day having coffee, or you know, after the day's done.
Other cool friends working out, right?
Yeah, exactly. And hear all these like formative stories that have turned everybody into who they are today. And inevitably, it's those things that seem like obstacles. It's things that aren't going your way that actually empower you and make you better. And you learn so much more from those situations. So not to say that any of us want adversity, but when it does come, you've got a team around you to help you get past it and to use it as a way to develop your own skills. And once you've had those experiences that are challenging and you've found a way to overcome that, then you've really added a skill that will benefit you forever.
Right. And a lot of times, different things intertwine each other. Don't overthink it, just do it. I think another big takeaway I learned from this event is don't look for a perfect solution, just launch imperfect.
Minimum viable product.
Improve upon it, because your customer is going to tell you what they're looking for. The market's going to tell you, is it working or not? Like, instead of you trying to wait until the moment, try to perfect it, if you launch it, just launch it and adapt and adjust, make adjustments. So I think that was you know, really good takeaway. And then we also talk about with Coach Michael Birch.
He was amazing.
Yeah, he was amazing. I think he give us a motto that says you have to be hungry, you have to be humble, and you have to be teachable. So a lot of time people are in a very comfortable position, because human nature, we want to do less stuff.
Right.
You know, that sometimes the mind will play trick on you. And that's too hard. You don't want to try that. This is easy. Go this way, right? So be hungry what you're looking for and constantly work for it. And be humble that you have so much else to learn from.
Yep.
And be teachable when people try to give you constructive feedback, instead of taking defensively, just, you know,
Absolutely.
self-improvement. So
I really got
takeaway.
Yeah, that particular session I really enjoyed. I mean, there was so much, but I thought that his entire message was really powerful. And you know, he shared a story of how he was a high school basketball coach, and he really did a lot to develop the girls on his team. He, you know, was teaching them from Stephen Covey books at a time, you know, multiple ones, and adding skills. And you know, there was a lot to that. But I agree that I thought that hungry, humble, and teachable was really big, because you know, you do have to really want something, and you're right, you can't wait for things to come to you. You want it's the whole concept of doing what others aren't willing to do in order to be successful.
Be hungry for it. You have to be thirsty about what you're looking for and look for that. If you're in a very comfortable position, which you know, sometimes we have a stable job, we have, you know, stable income rolling in, it's really easy to kind of just settle into, you know what, I'm good at where I am. Like, everything's being paid, I don't need to worry too much. I'm just going to stay where I am. But that's, you know, that you're not thirsty enough. So set a big goal, dream big, and, you know, improve. And I love this kind of mindset retreat, because it's not just about talking about business strategy, it's about self-improvement.
Absolutely. Well, and as you were saying that, and I was thinking about his session yesterday, and then, you know, also thinking about some of the things Tim Story shared with us. And I've thought so many times about when I mean, he's been with us multiple times and now a member of Owners Club, but how he said, things are going to get weird. As you start further along your path of being successful, it's going to get weird how good things are and how successful things are. And, you know, we've seen different members of the group that have really experienced that, and to be there and to hear people's stories firsthand when they've had a huge success that's like life-changing, it's that, you know, comes back to me again and again. But then I also think about like Marcus Lemonis, the thing he shared with us, Russell Brunson, and just like, I mean, for us to have had this up close and personal development, Dan Martell, with all these different leaders in their own area. And for us to have had the benefit of actually, not reading their book, not sitting on a webinar, a podcast, but seeing them in person, shaking their hand, telling them a little bit about ourselves. I mean, wow, it's life-changing.
Right.
So it's good to be able to kind of see what we've learned from each of these and how we're putting these pieces together to really develop everyone. But we have a burden of, or not even a burden, but the responsibility to pull others along with us. And that's where I come back to the networking and when we go to meetups and trying to figure out how we can add value and help others and, just have people really share what they're working on, what they've done, what value they bring, and how we can all work together.
Right, and I think as we're approaching the end of the year, it's a good time to rethink what you're trying to achieve. Don't make a long checklist. I like how they just say, just pick five. Pick 5 goals that you wanted to achieve until the next, before we're moving into 2026. It could be some personal and could be some business. It doesn't have to be all business. I think personal is particularly important. I set up, out of the 5, I set actually 3 for my family. Because sometimes I juggle a lot of things. A lot of people, they're entrepreneurs, also have young kids especially. You have to make time for your family. It's important. They're part of your life. They're part of your growth. And they're there to support you. So it's important to reserve time for them. Time block every day. You want to reconnect with them. And I also set up 2 business goals, hoping to achieve the end of the year. What about you? What's the percentage how you set up?
It's so interesting that you said that, because as we were talking even this morning, you had not mentioned yours specifically, but Julie was saying that 3 of hers had to do with family. And I realized mine was only 1, but it was because it was very broad and it was, sweeping about having more balance and something. So out of my 5, I only had 1 that was family. The others were strategic, but, they weren't like really tactical things, but broad things. Right. But because the one that I set for family was just very, very broad, there was only the 1. But, I was even thinking about specific things that I've done over the last year and in the past. And it can be just, really seeing what the patterns are. Like in my case, I was saying how last year I eventually over time blocked an hour on my calendar for when my daughter would come home from school, because that was that time that, she's rushing to school, she's rushing somewhere else, she's going out with friends. But consistently, that was the time where I'd get to hang out and spend time and hear about her day. And so often I realized I was in a meeting and I didn't plan it that way, but I'm like, you know what, I'm going to take control of this and I'm going to block that hour off on my calendar so that I can be available when she comes home and we can hang out for a few minutes, hear about the day, what's coming up for the rest of the day or the week. But in general, mine was just to have more balance. Correct. And, it takes a while to get where you want to get, but I really want to be better about that over the next year. And, it is good to think about it ahead of the end of the year and really making resolutions and not wait until the end of the year to do things like that.
Start planning it now.
Well, and doing it now. And I know
pick up momentum.
We spend a lot of time on mindset. And, I really do think you've got to get things straight and to get your motivation straight. And to, have all of the affirmations and all of the things that you need and understand the purpose behind what you're doing. And that's where we talk about our Mount Everest and, the big thing that we're looking to achieve, because it's not making a certain amount of money. It's, accomplishing a specific task. It could be different, or not even a task, but a large goal of, helping a certain number of people, having a certain number of employees, supporting a certain number of families and doing that, and how that larger ecosystem is having a benefit beyond what you as an individual are doing.
Correct. Yeah, it has greater impact.
Yes, impact.
Quantifiable impact.
Yeah, that's it. Well, it was a really wonderful board meeting. On to the next thing. We've got January for when we'll be in Miami, and then we'll be back to Squat Up before you know it. And so many great things between point A and point B. I think there are so many things that are underway already, but I just want to say thank you for everything. I mean, we have such a great community and so many good friends that are like family, and how we all support each other, and just, I'm really appreciative for being a part of this group and for being able to help others as well.
Right. So
thank you. Thanks for joining, and hope you find that helpful. All right, so, okay. Well, it really was a great board meeting, the very first one. We've all had so many great experiences together already. Looking forward to the next time and all the things in between. What's so beautiful is we know we'll all see each other in January,
Right.
but between now and then, just different opportunities to connect, help each other where we have challenges, and to be there and contribute.
Right. I'm so glad you have me on this talk, and I'm so appreciative, having you as a friend, and I can't wait to see how you progress to the next chapter, because we see each other every 3-4 months. I can't wait to see you again.
Same.
Thank you for listening in.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining, everyone. Hope you got some benefit and value out of what we shared, and hope to see you all in person or online.